Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Week 2 Gillcast. Davis Maddox, Sammy Reed, Nate Noling here with you guys. And last week, got some feedback. You didn't like the show. Everyone won. There was some minimal dunking, some dusty Randall Cobb action, refusal to take L's. Well, guess what? Everybody's got to fucking take some L's right now because this was, guys, this was worse than the Will Fuller week, honest to God. It was worse than the Christian Kirk week. We had the nuts in our hands. 10:30 in the morning. I'm like, we got to play Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got to just play Amon-Ra St. Brown. 0 for 3 Amon-Ra St. Brown amongst the Gillcast
Buddy, you
crew.
even tweeted it. You just tweeted Amon-Ra St. Brown and you didn't play him in cash. The brand, really bad. My DraftKings account, really bad. Today sucked ass, so bad. I'm steamed. I'm tilted. Like this is not a good day, my friends. Not a good day.
No, and the other thing is, the games were mostly bad. Outside of 1 hour at the end of the witching hour, it was like mostly pretty bad football, which makes it worse. Like when you're just watching Jacoby Brissett, just nail David Njoku crossers all day, and it
was awful. It was awful. Day. It was awful. I mean, from the moment that freaking Cam Akers report came out, I knew my day was awful. And
yes,
you could have just done what I did, Nate, and ignore it and stick with Darrell Henderson, but still not
play Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Jesus H Christ! I am the biggest fish on the face of the earth. I literally just breathe through gills and have scales. This is an all-time bad slate, bro.
This is Will Fuller week. When a receiver that owned, what is he? Second most owned wide receiver on the slate, puts up 42 points.
I don't think he was that owned. I think Adams and Dortch were both more owned, and Judy took a lot of the ownership. I'm pulling it up in the $50 double up right now. It wasn't
third highest owned wide receiver in cash.
Yeah,
in terms of Devontae and Dortch.
In terms of total ownership, he was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He was the 7th most owned player in cash games.
Yeah, but he was owned like a quarter, right?
Rough,
yeah,
25,
28% in the $25.
Yeah,
and he was the third highest owned wide receiver.
Yeah, an immediate windmill dunk all over our face.
49 yard catch the first drive, and you're just like, yeah, you know what? We played it bad. All right, so format of the show. Nate wins the 3-man by, I think, not swap. I think you just didn't swap, Nate. You had you props to Nate. He managed to find a way to break 111 points. I scored 81.7 on my swap lineup. I swapped like every piece I had remaining for maximum leverage. Didn't really end up mattering. And then the whirling dervish with 74 points.
Jesus. Gee, I ran good to get to 74, bro. Like Greg Dortch is my highest scoring player in my lineup.
Same, Greg Dortch. So the OG lineup that I played, and that was a duplicated lineup. Like this was not that uncommon of a lineup, was Derek Carr, Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette, Devontae Adams, Jerry Jeudy, Greg Dortch, Kylan Granson, Joe Mixon in the Bengals defense. Other people also played this lineup with Juwan Johnson straight up over Kylan Granson. So this was the big decision point today. That was the 2v2 basically came down to Darrell Henderson and Amon-Ra St. Brown or Leonard Fournette. There were a number of 7K running backs who were playable. Fournette was the most popular, and Jeudy, Michael Thomas, Brandon Cooks, like that variety of player. And we all fucking picked wrong. Buddy.
This is like the toughest day. Like I'm looking at my lineup and I just want to sob. It's uncontrollable. Like this is
the amazing thing is that Devontae Adams did poorly after 48% target share last week. He gets 2 targets. He's out targeted by Mac Hollins. But the degree to which Barkley and Fournette were like the worst plays on the slate. Without an injury, that just does not happen that much.
It was pretty crazy. CMC, Barkley, and Fournette all had just none of them.
Well, I guess actually
Devontae
what we should really
literally had like this has to be the floor for Devontae. I mean,
we need to rewind all the way back to the beginning, which was how everyone went from Darrell Henderson being the lock to being he was 42% owned in the $50 double up, so it's not like people got off him entirely. But I think had everyone's lineups been locked on Saturday night, I think he would have been like 75%.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And honestly, after seeing how Fournette was used in that game, and then like if I got no information on efficiency and I just got Leonard Fournette touches and snaps and Darrell Henderson efficiency or Darrell Henderson snaps and touches, I'm snapping the Jerry Jeudy Leonard Fournette side over Amon-Ra St. Brown Henderson. Yeah. Henderson played less than half the snaps. Like Akers was getting all the work. He was in there in the goal. Like Henderson happened to score a goal line touchdown.
Henderson was just
as soon as the report came out, I realized like I can't play Henderson in cash. I mean, I just can't play a running back who I can't even guarantee 50% of the workload. And I think the reality is week 1, we were all shocked at the Akers usage, and it was clear that Akers had done something to piss off the coaches. It wasn't this dude no longer has talent. This dude is like, they're not putting their future in Darrell Henderson. Like we know that as an offense, we know that as a team, they're not going to put stock in Darrell Henderson long-term for a full workload. He's just not their guy. And so we knew in the back of our minds that we were overreacting to week 1, that Akers was dust and not going to be so like, yeah, as soon as that report came out, it kind of brought me back to earth of like, oh wait, like I can't play this guy in cash.
So what did people who won play?
Amon-Ra St. Brown. Well, let me talk about,
I guess that's all you needed, right, Davis. That's literally all you need.
I'm literally, that's funny. I literally just clicked on a random team in the $50 double up. Listen to what it is. Carr, Barkley, Mixon, Adams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Dortch, Juwan Johnston, Darrell. So literally the team we just had an hour before lock is just
they just went down at tight end and up at wide receiver 2.
No, they just played the other side of the Len, Jeudy, Henderson, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Oh, it's so fucking annoying.
I mean, literally, like I wouldn't be surprised if 80% of the winners in double ups played. Like if
right, yeah,
Brown's ownership was 80% in the winners.
Yes, because if you look at if we just look at the highest owned players in general, if you just sort by ownership, Bengals bust, Devontae Adams bust, Barkley huge bust, Dortch as the 4th most owned player gets 15, Carr gets 18, Mixon bust, Henderson whatever. I mean, it's just all snowflakes. Albert O, 20% owned snowflake. Jerry Jeudy, 20% owned snowflake.
Can we change Albert O's nickname to Albert
Zero?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Davis was like, he's a lock.
Buddy.
I'll be honest. The 2 teams that I was looking at, if I'm going back to 11:45 right now, neither one of my teams had St. Brown. I was waffling between 2 teams, one with Darrell Henderson, one without. And with my build going up to CMC, I went way off the beaten path, and I'm realizing no one had my team.
Like, yeah, you're a straight up fish.
There were four playable running backs: Henderson, Fournette, Barkley, and Mixon. I don't think anyone else I even considered for a second in cash.
I mean, here's the thing. I
CMC
played
at 8,500. CMC at this price, I felt like
we gotta downgrade CMC. We gotta give him a less cool nickname.
Dude, CMC got the bonus. Like I had almost all CMC in GPP. Like I thought he was a good play. So I'm not gonna like hate on Nate for getting there, but certainly I don't think that getting off like the value of Fournette at, what was Fournette, 67, something like that.
I had Fournette
60.
I
67.
went CMC, Fournette, and I just went all 3 studs.
Oh, gotcha.
He double punted wide receiver. So instead of playing Jeudy or Michael Thomas or Brandon Cooks or Sutton, he double punted.
Yeah, you're a dumb dick, Nate. That's
I just went with the volume at running back, which is what I always do. And I mean, I thought those three were the
Mixon, Fournette, and Barkley like combined. I mean, they did fuck all, but they got like 55 touches combined.
Yeah, but I put CMC in that same range.
Yeah, but he was 1,500 more expensive. You're Nate. This was. I mean, don't throw stones from a glass house, but this is horrible.
I played Daryl Henderson, and like I'm still gonna call Nate.
I will say, Sammy did the way dumber thing than what you did, which was paying up at like I've just had this conversation with myself. Like if I'm gonna eat a 4 burger at tight end, I'm paying $2,600 for it. I am not playing these Higbees, these Albert O. I mean, I know Gerald Everett had a good game against the Chargers, but people are, I don't even know who the Chargers play, whatever. People are going to want to play Everett and cash next week. I'm not doing it. I'm not paying $3,800 for tight ends.
Bro, I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. Like, that's how I usually
This is not like you. Yeah, this is not like you.
I'm just like,
you're the dwelling
all min-price tight end all the time. And I was like, no, dude, I got to keep Albert O in there. Like, Albert O is the G. Like, he's going to get 6-7 targets. And this, Indianapolis situation is like not it. The Saints are going to use Taysom Hill. Like, I don't want any of that. I think these guys could get zeros, but Albert O is going to be involved. And so I like stuck on Albert O. And I mean, Jesus H. Christ, like I'm so bad at daily fantasy sports. I should retire.
I want to just put this out here so I can make this point while it's still fresh. Like, the degree to which tight ends do not score points, I don't think people have really figured this out. In full PPR this week, with 2 or 3 games left, these are the point totals. Mark Andrews, the only player to score more than 20. Waller and Ertz, the only guys to get over 15. Ross Dwelly with 1 catch, happened to go for a tight end, finishing.
Why didn't I just 10. Play Dwelly, man?
I mean, but I'm just like, it's like, Juwan Johnson, Kylan Granson, these, Tyler Conklin. Like, I don't care, dude. I am playing Kelsey, or I am just eating, 1 for 8s from these guys. I just don't care. I'm not paying up for because I know why you played Albert O. It feels safer, right? It feels like, out KJ Hamler's out. Like, bro, he could get 4 for 40. He could score. Yep. I totally get it. And I thought Albert was a really good play. I definitely did not see 0 for 0 for 0 coming, but
I mean,
Logan Thomas.
It's a whole series of these events, right? It's playing Albert O, but it's also sticking with Daryl Henderson, who is a straight up bad play. I said, you know what? I don't really believe these reports. Like, yeah, maybe Akers is kind of back in the good graces, but like, this is a great scoring environment. Henderson, I still think, will be the lead guy. Like, Akers played really badly last week. Like, what did he do in 2 days of practice that all of a sudden he's gonna be splitting time? And he did split time.
Well, Henderson was the conditional thing that changed was that they liked this Kyron Williams guy, and he broke his ankle. Right. So it's like they're not going to play Daryl Henderson the entire season. So it's like we're sticking together for the kids. Like, we got to get something out of Cam Akers because we're not trading a conditional draft pick for Dearness Johnson or whatever. Like, we got to live with each other.
I don't think it's that. I think it's more week 1 was just a punishment for Akers. I really do think, I think 15 weeks from now, we're going to look back. Week 1 was a blip and we overreacted.
Daryl Henderson, I think, played the highest allotment of snaps of any running back in week 1. And
I believe that's true.
And like, Nate, I know what you're saying, but I was like, even if it goes down a bit, like, he can still be a 60-75% guy.
Well, my thought was it's the Falcons. If it's a true 50-50 split, it still might work out. Like, you have upside of it being the split from last week.
That's what I was thinking too. Yes. But I mean, at the end of the day, he got 10 carries and he got 0 targets. Like, they don't throw the rock to their running backs that much.
That's the other thing is they don't.
So this was just a straight up fish move by me, man. Like, what else is there to say? It was a shitty idea. 42% of people in daily fantasy are bad, and I'm included in that. So here's my L.
But it's also one of those things. Like, playing Henderson allowed you to get onto a high projected points lineup with Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I'm not going to go as far as saying with the information we had at lock that playing Henderson was bad.
Yeah, but I didn't play Amon-Ra. I played Brandon Cooks.
Well, I know I'm not absolving you of blame. I think you're bad, but I'm telling people I don't think like Henderson in and of itself. I don't think the thing that I think specifically that we ran bad on was Leonard Fournette in any sort of normal game just completely punishes people who didn't take him. He ceded, I think, 5 snaps in that game to Rachaad White. I mean, if the Buccaneers just hit their team total, like he gets 25 there, 25 plus, like a lot of the time.
Yeah, 24 rushes and 4 targets. Like that's what you're paying for.
It's like it was just and I mean, honestly, like it was one of those things where like watching the game, I was like, I would press surrender on Fournette right now because everything the Bucks did just looked like it was so much effort for them to do anything. Like Brady's like throwing these targets to a tight end wearing 41. You know, it was painful.
Dude. Their whole team is dust. Their line is decimated. Yes. Brady's 45 and like taking vacations and taking every Wednesday off. Like he's not invested. His wife is pulling on his strings and saying, listen, you're not doing this thing. Like you can play on Sundays, but like
you can play with your friend on Sundays, but you got to be a dad.
That's right. He's halfway out. Godwin's hurt. Julio Jones is hurt. Like I mean, that's kind of why I didn't want, and the Saints own them. Like that's kind of why I didn't want any piece of any of the Bucks. But like, I mean, you still got 24 rushes and 4 targets. Like that was worth the price, and you ran bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rest of the lineup, honestly, is like Carr. The Raiders had the highest team total. The Cardinals defense is horrible. Barkley, insane workload, like underpriced by like 1,000. Adams, I mean, same deal. It's like what are you gonna do? Like Adams is a smash. Judy and Dortch. I mean, Judy was obviously the part that I felt like the worst about, just because Russ did not look that good last week, and
Dortch
really
wasn't
did not.
The thing you felt the worst about. I felt worse.
Oh, I thought Dortch
literally
was
when I hit submit on my lineup, the only reason I played Dortch was because I knew he was going to be owned.
No, he is
Dortch
the perfect fit. He's the perfect fit for that team.
The dude's measurables are awful, and there's literally no reason to assume that he is going to continue to get workload at the NFL level. Like,
well, they have no one. They're down to 4 NFL wide receivers.
I mean, I know AJ Green.
Well, he fills a very specific role on that.
It's like if Rondale was playing these same snaps, he'd be like, it just doesn't matter how inefficient a guy is. It's just it's a role inside of this offense, like not even the Cliff offense, like the guys that Cliff learned from. Like the whole offense is predicated on the position that Greg Dortch plays being like the first read on that. To get really inside football, the base play that the air raid runs is the mesh play, and the slot wide receiver on that play is super important. So it's like not having a slot wide receiver get targets is like impossible.
Yeah, Nate, I don't know if you had looked at the blueprints for the scheme or anything like that, but maybe you need to.
I'm just saying,
I just totally could, as I was hitting submit, I'm like, I can totally see this dude running 7 routes, getting 0 targets, and me feeling like an idiot.
There was no world where outside of him getting hurt was he running 7 routes. No, like what were they going to do? Have AJ Green be the slot wide receiver?
Yeah, no.
I
was plenty confident in Dortch that he could be perfectly cromulent, and he was, except he caught a touchdown. So great.
That was the same reasoning I played Richie James, though. I mean, I played Richie James because I knew
Richie James
those targets.
Except your thesis ended up being wrong. Richie James played the 4th most snaps at wide receiver for the Giants.
Yeah, that's why I played Richie James.
What I'm telling you is that
fourth most on the Giants is not a good thing.
He was the 3rd wide receiver.
He was not.
Yes,
he was not. No, he wasn't. I will pull it up right now, but I know for a fact that his snaps got reduced this week.
God, I feel
he
super
came in for
unconfident.
every 3 wide receiver set in the slot.
I feel super unconfident when Davis is this confident. Like
when slot snaps come out, he will be. He was the 3rd wide receiver. He came in. He was slot every time.
Yes.
Okay,
go ahead,
whatever.
Sammy.
Let's actually go through and break down lineups.
Yeah, should we actually say what our lineups were? We're just
Okay.
arguing about players and nobody knows what we did.
Nate played Derek Carr, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Adams, Greg Dortch, Richie James Jr., Logan Thomas, Leonard Fournette, and the Bengals defense. Sammy played, say what your lineup was before you swapped.
Buddy, I didn't swap.
Oh, Davis, okay. You're the only one who swapped.
Okay, yeah, my lineup's so bad it just looks like I swapped, but I actually kept it.
Sammy played Trey Lance, Darrell Henderson, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, Greg Dortch, Alberto, and Joe Mixon. I originally played the very chalky Derek Carr, Saquon Barkley, Leonard Fournette, Devontae Adams, Jerry Jeudy, Greg Dortch, Kylan Granson, Joe Mixon, and the Bengals defense. I swapped to Trey Lance over Carr, Jamar Chase over Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow over Jeudy, and Javonte Williams in flex, and then the Broncos defense instead of the Bengals defense.
Holy shit! Yeah, you went full on swap, Davis.
Yeah. Which I had. I mean, we were.
I was still somewhat live, so I didn't swap. If Devontae puts up 20 something points here, like he typically does, I'm not.
You would have been fine. Yeah.
I thought I was kind of live because I didn't have Amon-Ra, but I did like Barkley was my only morning player.
Yeah, and Sammy, you had no reason to swap.
You didn't have enough information to swap, I guess.
Yeah, he was so widely owned, and I knew that Lance would probably be a dog in terms of ownership to Carr.
I would have done in your spot. Did you have any salary left over in this lineup?
Maybe 100.
I would have tried to find a different defense. I would have looked at swaps to try and find a different defense.
Yeah,
because that's just an immediate spot where you already know you're basically flipping coin, and even like 5 points of defense, like you
for sure. The only defense down there that I thought was good was the Jets defense, maybe,
and they were
price
they
point,
lost.
and they had gone, yeah.
So I guess, I mean, I obviously looked at like 100 swaps, and this is kind of just what I landed on when it all. I mean, I thought Lance was obvious, right? The Lance over Carr.
How I'm so tilted that he got dusted. Like, I'm so goddamn tilted. Like, it is just, it sucks when your cash team is like, okay, I have everybody going in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden, like, Lance on the second drive just breaks his ankle or whatever, out for the season immediately. And you're just like, I got all these seasonal shares, I got them in cash, and I'm just like,
it's horrible.
It's so horrible. Brutal, man. So brutal. So I knew I was drawing completely stone dead at that point, and god damn it,
2.5 points from Lance did not play.
Literally everybody in my lineup has a snowflake except Darrell Henderson, who got lucky, Greg Dortch, and the Bengals defense. Other than that, it's like just so full of snowflakes. It's like a Joe Biden presidential rally. Like, my lineup is just like so egregious, bro. I can't believe this.
So some of the swaps I looked at were Cooper Kupp, obviously over the Adams spot, which I think probably would have got me there. I think if I would have done that, I think maybe even with Lance 2.5, it may be, because I think he got 35. And then Sutton over Jeudy, and then going down at the flex spot and keeping Bengals defense. I mean, maybe you could say I over swapped, you
swapped your entire team,
maybe,
bro.
Davis, maybe,
but it's like I'm trying to say
we should have played Amon-Ra St. Brown. Maybe,
well, but then I think that's easy to say, right? It's like, oh, you did too much, but another one of the things is like, you're trying to gain a maximum amount of leverage. So I guess it's how much of a lever do you need to have, right? I don't know. But
Davis, let me ask you a question, bro. When you realize that you need to swap, do you actually get a little bit happy? Like, is there a part of you deep inside that's like,
today.
Let's go, this is my shit?
Not today, because I was so on Amon-Ra St. Like, I played Amon-Ra St. Brown on every tournament team, so I was mostly just like, you had a fucking winning day in your hands and you're a moron.
Yeah.
Now, maybe if we're doing this 3 weeks from now and it's maybe like a coin flip if I should or shouldn't, 100%. Because it's a fun mental exercise to be like, okay, what can I do here? And this player's leverage off this player, and this is good salary leverage or X, Y, and Z. But today was only tilt swapping.
Okay, so let's ask this question and let's really get into it. I know that Amon-Ra crushed, right? He had a monster day. I mean, he had close to 200 total yards, 9 receptions, 2 touchdowns. This is the Christian Kirk. This is the Will
This
Fuller
is Will
day.
Fuller. Yeah.
Were we bad for not playing him, not knowing the results? Because he was
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because the other mid-tier wide receivers who were in play, Cooks, Judy, I mean, they were fine plays.
Judy, Evans,
Michael Thomas.
Evans was not in play for cash.
Yes, he was.
No.
With Nathan. Yes, he was.
Nathan. He simply was not. Don't you know about Lattimore, bro?
Weren't you worried?
No. Evans was definitely in play in cash at 6,800. I think that Judy was also in play.
Playing Mike Evans over Amon-Ra St. Brown, the dunking on you would have never ceased had you gotten to that lineup construct and played Evans over Amon-Ra St. Brown. I want to live in the universe where you get the lineup to do that and to have the option to choose both, and you choose Mike Evans.
I wish I would have.
It would have been the best program in our history. No, the best world is the world where
with Julio
I don't play
Jones
Amon-Ra.
out, with Chris Godwin out, Mike Evans in this spot is definitely in play at 6,800. Like, there's no way that you can tell me he's not a cash play because of Marcus Lattimore. Like, it's just not.
I had Amon-Ra St. Brown projected for more points than Mike Evans, so I would have never done that.
Yeah, Nate, I don't really understand this. Like, he had a 11.8% target share. Mike Evans did. Like, it's not like, these guys are out. All of a sudden, we're just gonna,
he got ejected.
The ball is Scotty Miller.
He gets ejected every time they play the Saints, dude.
Sammy, he got ejected halfway through the game. That's why his target share.
But Nate, Perriman got 5 targets. Scotty Miller got 8. Russell Gage got 6. Like, they just plug guys in. They don't just start throwing to Mike Evans a ton more. Like, that's not how it works.
That's actually a rare salient point for Mr. Reed, which is that the Bucs are not trying to. My biggest takeaway from them through 2 games is they don't give a shit about scoring 30 points. Brady is not in this for an MVP season. They are trying to get in. These dudes are clocking in. They are quiet quitting. The Buccaneers are quiet quitting, bro. They are there to win 20-17 and go home to their wives, bro. This is not the great, they do not care about scoring points.
Tom Brady's out, bro.
It's sad, honestly. And Brady just looks miserable. Just after every play, he's just yelling at someone.
He's just hanging on to sell a couple more TB12 subscriptions that'll take him through retirement. That's all he's for.
I did not have Nate retroactively touting Mike Evans on the podcast bingo.
You didn't see that he only got 4 targets. Like, what are you talking about?
Sammy, he got ejected. I'm saying going into the game, he projected as a good play. At the price tag, him, Judy, and Amon-Ra St. Brown are all relatively close from any.
As someone who does projections, I can also say this, that if you projected Amon-Ra St. Brown like the guy he's actually been for the last 8 games of his career.
Yeah, he's the best wide receiver in fantasy.
It's like you'd have to give him a 31% target share with 10 yards per target and a 70%. It's Leone talks about this, about input volatility and not knowing what the actual right number is in some of these spots and kind of just having to make a good educated guess. And that's one, you can't give him a 33% target share against the Washington Commanders, or else he's going to project for 22 points or whatever.
Yeah, he was in the dome. That we should have known. He was in the dome.
He was in the dome. I mean, and the other thing is that's the second highest total game of the week. People loved him. They loved that game for tournaments. It just should have been obvious to us. We're stupid. We're bad.
We're super stupid. I can't believe how dumb I am. It's unbelievable. Just had to play Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was a pretty clear play. I mean, just
this is not like the Christian Kirk thing where we were surprised that he was as owned as he was. You know, like I think he was 50% owned that 3 touchdown slate against the Buccaneers, and we were
we all
was...
we all just went in and we're like, well, hope Amon-Ra doesn't give us the blade, and he did.
He just...
I mean, the guy just ripped our hearts right out of our chests, and now we're all broke. I mean, Nate, did you get any money back? Like,
I won 8 out of 250 head-to-heads.
I got close to 50% back.
Jesus. Oh, it's so bad.
It might have been the worst I've ever done in head. And obviously I didn't go through game by game, and I just mass swapped to this.
Yeah.
Leverage anomaly.
I won
monstrosity.
I won 3 head-to-heads. And let me just say to the 3 people that I beat, man, you suck. Like, I can't believe that I beat anybody. I thought I was going for the low ball championship on this slate. So Jesus, you guys, whoever I beat this week, y'all need to quit, man. Whirling Dervish.
They probably swapped against you, bro.
Probably.
Yeah, you wouldn't have beaten them straight up.
That's true.
Yeah, it was rough not having him.
Okay. Do we have anything else to say? I mean, I guess the one thing I will
say CMC is back. Like he was out there. Like,
yeah, I did not have that takeaway.
His usage was back.
What do you have? 6 targets today?
No. I think 4.
You are forgetting the number one thing upon which CMC is predicated, which is that he's getting like 9 targets a game.
Yeah, he got 5 targets.
It had to be at least 20%.
But this is what they're doing.
They only threw the ball 26 times.
They're 2 games right now. They're playing slow as shit. They're running the play clock down to 1 every time. They're running on first down. Like this is,
and they're headed by Faker Mayfield. I mean, that team is ass, bro. Like at some point, unless he's just getting peppered, like he's just a crappy, like 5th-year running back on a crappy team. I don't know.
I'll keep playing him in tournaments, but I will not be playing him at these prices in cash games. Because you could get the week where they pace up and he gets the bonus. He gets, double bonus, 11 receptions, score. Like I'm not saying that CMC is dead. Like I don't think this is like we're writing him off forever. But this is not David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, jam him in season.
Right? Is he the 101? You know what I mean?
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
I'll take a 20% target share with an 80+% rushing attempt share of CMC
on 44 snaps a game.
Yo, I mean, I wouldn't say my opinion of CMC has changed that much after this game, Nate. Like I said, he was my most owned GPP player. I had a crap load of him. I thought he was a good play. He got 15 rushes at a 17, right? He had a 17% target share. Like, dude, he's going to be a good, solid player. But maybe I need to reconsider, like, just saying, yeah, CMC is that dude who, like, you pay up for him and he's just getting like high 20s. Not sure if we're there anymore. We'll see.
I agree with Sammy.
So, let's
do our tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, none of us did the Tua double stack with the Bateman bring back. Therefore, we are not rich. I did 2 teams in the red zone this week, and one of them was a Lamar team, but I did no bring back.
Fish.
Whatever. Lamar, 48 points has got to be the most ever for a quarterback. There's no way there's been more than 48 points.
That's a lot of points. He had the double bonus,
he double bonus, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. Like I don't know. Maybe Tua got more, but
Tua had 469 and 6. I don't know how many points that is, but it feels like a lot.
So my primary, I guess there were 3 things I really thought were important this week in tournaments. One was playing Cooper Kupp as like massive leverage on very chalky Devontae Adams and on Darrell Henderson. 2, not playing the Bengals defense, just playing any defense, but the Bengals, just
Yes.
literally any defense. But
if you had more than 1% Cincinnati defense in your GPPs, you are a fish.
No, if you had any, it's
that's what I'm saying.
I believe they were 40% owned in the Millionaire Maker.
Christ almighty. Yeah.
That might be wrong. I know they were 40% in single entry, but which is horrible, right? Absolutely no excuse for that in any.
The second that the Jameis report came out, the Bucks were the easiest play at defense in tournaments. Well, Jameis is playing through what? 5 broken vertebrae in his back.
Only 4, I believe, Nate.
Only 4.
Yeah. That was the easiest pivot ever for tournaments.
Yeah, and the third tenet was just playing Amon-Ra St. Brown in every lineup, which almost worked. My main team was Carson Wentz, Joe Mixon, Leonard Fournette, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahan Dotson, Ashton Doolin, Logan Thomas, Cooper Kupp, and my super mega levered play of the week, the Dallas Cowboys defense at 0.7% owned in.
I love that so much. Such a sharp play.
Yeah. So this team, I mean, it basically min cash. I got $100 back. But yeah, Fournette came in at less owned than I thought, which must have been the I guess correct football guy take that the Buccaneers were just going to be shit on offense and they weren't going to be able to do anything. But the Wentz, looking at Wentz at 15%, had I thought Wentz was going to be 15%, I would absolutely not have done this. And I don't think I would have made my way to Lamar with a double Dolphins bring back. Like I liked Tyreek and Waddle. I thought they were both good plays, but
I wasn't gonna get there.
Wentz at 15%.
Yeah, that's Cincinnati defense levels right there. You can't do it.
But what's weird is that
it's bad when Davis, we both stacked because I had Wentz as well. I had a Wentz. My main team was a Wentz double stack as well. I also really liked Terry McLaurin. I thought Terry McLaurin was like my favorite leverage play of the week. I thought Washington Detroit, that game was like,
yeah, it was compared to
the Vegas Arizona game. It was like the game I wanted exposure to most in tournaments. So I went Wentz with a double stack. So I went Wentz, Mixon, Javonte Williams, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Richie James Jr. Brought it back with Hawk, which was awful. And then
have fun staying poor too.
Debo Samuel and Buccaneers. Should have brought it back with St. Brown.
Debo. What was he owned? I ended up having to swap off of him in the teams where I had him. What was he owned?
It was like he was like 7% in the SPY, 6%.
I thought he was obviously like a fucking great play with Eli Mitchell out. Like I thought he could have one of those Debo games where he has like 65 yards receiving, 80 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, Debo and Terry McLaurin were like my 2 favorite leverage plays of the week. Neither one did anything.
Sammy?
All right. Well, I had a decent cash in the power sweep, the 150 power sweep, because I did have Lamar on this team stacked with Rashad Bateman and brought back with Jalen Waddle. That was hot. I played. Yeah. So that was like in the morning, I was like, oh, I'm going to be rich. But it ended up kind of petering out. I had McCaffrey who did okay. I played Jeff Wilson Jr. in this lineup. Not the best. But I thought he had multi-touchdown upside. I thought the Niners would roll. So I played him. At receiver, other than Waddle and Bateman, I did have Richie James Jr. I played the Lions defense as kind of leverage off that game.
Leverage off a 15% owned Carson Wentz.
Yeah. And, I think the other thing is defenses in shootouts tend to do well.
Yeah.
Right?
People forget in that crazy 54-51 Rams Chiefs showdown, one of the defense, I don't remember which one of the defenses is in the optimal.
Yeah. So I thought getting a defense from this game was actually a kind of cool idea, and playing a defense against Carson Wentz is always fun. And then my last 2, I did a little mini stat correlation in the evening games with Kyle Pitts at tight end and Allen Robinson in the flex. And buddy, Kyle Pitts, are we gonna have a memorial for him, or are we just gonna pour one out and move on? Or
I got some
Kyle
copium
today.
I got some copium here.
Give me it.
I think the mere evidence of Drake London being able to do so well is evidence that Pitts can do it too. Like, just like the fact that a fantasy relevant pass catcher can exist in this offense is evidence that Pitts can get there.
Well, I feel like I'm just going to like martingale Pitts until my account balance goes down to 0. But I had a ton of Pitts in GPP too, because I was just like, oh, this kid's going to fucking smash. And he did not smash. So this team had after that morning Raven stack with the Waddle bring back, it had some real potential. And Allen Robinson scored 1 touchdown. And then he had another touchdown that the officials blew off, which sucked. He had a 1-yard touchdown, and they're like, they stopped the play, and they're like, oh, somebody got hurt. Like the guy in the whatever in New York watching the game was like, oh, somebody's hurt. We got to stop it. So he got robbed of a touchdown there. And then Kyle Pitts, every time I see this big athletic single digit guy on Atlanta catching a ball and like moving through traffic, I'm like, yeah, it's Pitts. And it's not Pitts, it's Drake London. So yeah, didn't have a huge cash there, but at least
London looks unreal. London looks unreal.
London looks good. Yeah. And yeah, the Mariota London thing, every time I think, oh, it's gonna be Pitts. It's gonna be Pitts, but it's not.
We'll always have
single digit. What is it? 7 and 5?
Yes. No. Yes. Shit. Maybe. No. I think Pitts is 8. Pitts is 8,
and London is 5. And God, every time I roster Pitts, I just think of these like training camp videos that I seen on Twitter where he's like 1-on-1 against a backer and just like catches it deep for like a 70-yard touchdown. I'm like, oh, well, Pitts is gonna do that.
We'll always have the 52-yard catch against the Jets in the preseason. They'll never be able to take that away from us.
Yep, tough scene. This is God. I can't believe we didn't play Amon-Ra.
This is a bad week too.
Jesus,
why did we do this?
I don't know, man.
I was bumming today because some of my high stakes seasonal teams are just like dead now. Like when you start 0-2 in the main event, you are just like, it's so fucking hard. You got to claw back. And I had the team that had Dak, and then we picked up Matt Ryan.
Ooh, buddy, Matt Ryan is big dust.
The Colts are cooked, dude. The Colts are cooked.
That's real bad.
Dude, they tied the Texans and then lost to who'd they lose to today?
The Jaguars.
The Jaguars. Dude, the Jaguars own the Colts. Own them.
Dude, I am so glad I did not get in that Ashton Dulin, Paris Campbell mess.
Dulin had a good game.
I know, but still, I would have been tilting so hard watching that offense, knowing I had invested American dollars into it. I mean,
Kylan Granson got tackled at the 1.
They got brought back. There's OPI on that play. That's how he got open.
Don't tell me that, dude. It made me feel sharper to know that it was at least theoretically possible.
It was not sharp. You played the second most targeted tight end on the Colts.
We need to get DraftKings a petition to get Taysom at tight end. He's not playing quarterback for them. They got to put him at tight end.
I know. We would have played him today. He would have got more points than Alvaro.
He would have been 80% owned.
I would have played him. I would have played him in, probably not in cash. I probably still would have played one of the men guys, but I would have played him in tournaments for sure. Zero doubt about that. Yeah. The Broncos are bad.
Awful.
Like this Hackett guy doesn't know what's going on. Russ, 14 for 31.
Jesus.
Judy has got his shoulder all messed up. Alberto, nothing. They had Cortland Sutton was the only guy on the team with more than 2 receptions, more than 28 yards.
Sutton still looks like a boss, but there's no. I mean, even Javonte Williams, like I don't want to even take him in upside GPP stuff because it's just like any shares of that offense is so bad.
Yeah. This team is cancer. I don't want it.
No, it's I don't know. It's just, it seems terrible. And I guess, 49ers, like Jeff Wilson just got a shit ton of work, dude. He had 18 for 84 and he played all the third downs too. I don't think TDP was in on a single third down. Yeah,
they do not like TDP. Everybody who is touting the Mason kid, are they taking L's at this point?
have fun staying poor on that. He did not, 2 weeks in a row, no offensive snaps for him. What they did, the same thing they did when Eli got hurt last year, which was Juszczyk was that guy.
Yeah. And Juszczyk scavenged a touchdown. Garoppolo scavenged a touchdown. Jeff Wilson Jr. had 18 rushes, but TDP had 14. So I'm sure he got like more Wilson got like way more snaps and stuff like that, but like he's definitely not the workhorse by any stretch.
Yes, that is. Who do they play? Who do they play next week? 49ers schedule. Because if they're in another spot like this and DraftKings doesn't bump his price up. Oh, buddy, Sunday night, but they play against the Broncos.
Buddy,
crappy team.
just play Niners DST and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
Niners DST in the showdown, Captain.
I mean, also just like DeAndre Swift was super limited today. He only got 5 targets and 5 carries. That guy is like Barry fucking Sanders, man. It's like every time the Lions are on the red zone, it's like, and DeAndre Swift is tackled at the 5 after a 30-yard gain.
What would he be with a full workload? Like, take Jamal Williams out of it, and what if he was like he got the Saquon workload? I mean, he
would be right there with JT. Yeah.
We'd be taking him over CMC because like he's actually good and fast.
The issue is
JT. I mean, he catches his receiving work is so much better.
The thing is that he I feel like he has literally been questionable his entire life. Like have we ever gotten heading in? I guess week 1 we didn't, but it feels like every week it's like, he nicked his ankle up in practice, so he's going to be used. What was the
that's the tough thing. You can never play him because he's 7K and he gives up goal line work to fat Jamal Williams. So it's like, I can't really play Swift at this price when there's other bell cow players. But then you like get into the games and you're like, God, I wish I had Swift over Fat Lenny or whatever. Like that's a tough part about Swift for me, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know though. I mean, and the Lions like seem good too. Is like that's the other thing is like if they're not going to just be giving up and some like you remember the Eagles game last year, they're down 40-3 in the third quarter and stuff. Like they got a little bit more fight in them this year.
I don't know if I would say they're good. I just think it's aggressive play calling. I think anytime you have aggressive play calling in the NFL, it just gives your team more energy and life. And it's so funny to me watching guys like Nathaniel Hackett just like fumble over themselves in every turn.
I literally
Lions, and it's just go.
I literally think they they should fire him already. Hackett should be fired already.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
like
bad.
there's no justification for him.
You guys, nobody wants to hear this shit. We're like giving NFL takes and clearly like we're all stupid based on like our lineups
based on the results. Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's like, dude, you guys just
let's
shut
wrap
up.
it up and watch Fields just run over this Green Bay defense because
so
he just ran it in for 7.
I literally need to get off this podcast. I need to like head out and stop by some drive-throughs because sometimes people drop change like outside of the drive-through window, and I need to start collecting it right now.
That was not a good day, but better days are in the future. I need the Chiefs back on the main slate. I need Juju Smith-Schuster to be 6% owned because he had one bad game against the Chargers and try to get even that way. So, all right, guys, we're going to get out of here. If you want to send us invites because we're so bad, my screen name on DraftKings is Davis Maddock. Nate's is Nate N. You're not going to be able to find him. You're going to search for him. You're not going to be able to find him because there's so many Nate N names. So a little behind the curtains here. Nate has to send us the 3-man every single week because we can't search to invite him the name because there are too many DK account names with Nate N.
Just add me as a friend. And then it shows up quicker.
And his goddamn name, like the N at the end isn't capitalized, so it just looks like Nathan.
It was capitalized. I don't know why it doesn't show up.
Classic.
10 years ago,
and Sammy and Sammy not getting off the hook here is Whirling Dervish, which one of the worst names on the site. Truly one of the worst account names on the site. All right, guys, that's it. We're out of here. We'll be back next week.